Thank you for coming. Juan in the Bronx. The first thing I'm going to touch on is an episode that just happened to me today with the NYPD. As I was on Spofford, there's a grocery store. As I left the grocery store, in front of me there was another individual, black, with a 10-year-old child. And all three of us were actually stopped and physically frisked by the NYPD. They were undercover officers. There were 4 of them inside what looks to be a Chevrolet Impala with tinted windows. They did not identify themselves as police officers. They did not ask or tell us why they were frisking us. I was able to tell they were officers by looking at the bulletproof vest they had, the handguns that they had, and the badges wrapped around their necks. I was against the wall in front of the grocery store with my hands against the wall. One of the officers searched me, put my pockets inside out, went through my socks, made me take off my shoes, made me take off my socks, made me take off my t-shirt. He went through my pockets. At the same time, the other individual who was in front of me when we left the grocery store with the 10-year-old child, they made him take off his shoes, they made him take off his t-shirt, they through his pockets, and believe it or not, they also frisked the 10-year-old child with the book bag at the same time. They didn't give us no reason why. Oh, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. They did give us each, me and the other individual, a card here explaining us a stop and frisk, which I really think I could wipe my ass with, because after the embarrassment that I went through for no apparent reason, I'm frustrated right now with the situation. I don't know what did it call for me almost to be stripped in front of my friends in my neighborhood. Not only that, but if that's the way I feel about it, can you imagine how that other individual with a 10-year-old child should be feeling about this whole entire situation? And it's pretty funny. No, it's not funny. In fact, it's disgusting. There was no type of reasonable cause, no justification whatsoever. After a good 20 minutes, they let us go. They got into their car and drove off. As I put my shirt on, I noticed on my peripheral vision, I saw the 10-year-old was crying. It's a sad scene to look at. Like I said again, these officers have no respect for me, that father they pulled over, and everybody else who saw this on Spofford. This is ridiculous. This is tiresome. And my advice to those new recruits that do go into the NYPD, it is up to you and only you that can actually change this corrupt hierarchy within the NYPD. Let me explain something to you about the way the NYPD works. They are the most corrupt organization in the country. They break laws. They set up these stop and frisk, and what they do is they target these areas that they so-called high crime rate. Now, I don't have a problem with the way the actually, let me rephrase that. I do have a problem with the way the NYPD is conducting these stop and frisk. What they need to do is actually go back to start using something called beat cops. So instead of the officer or patrolman driving around in a car, he should be walking around block to block and getting to know the people from within the neighborhood. Here's what's actually happened. The more this is going on, the more the community is actually losing faith in the NYPD. And it's not just because we're in the inner city, because I'm sure this doesn't happen in Yonkers, I'm sure this doesn't happen in Poughkeepsie, I'm sure this doesn't happen in normal places, only in the areas. Oh, of course it does happen on Park Avenue. If you're black, Hispanic, or some other non-white walking around on 86th and 1st Avenue, I'm sure they'll stop you and frisk you then, being that you're not from that neighborhood. Again, I have nothing against these new recruits going in to the NYPD. I beg and I plead, after today's episode, if you are watching this video, how is it possible that an officer, not one, but 4 of them, could actually frisk 3 people, 2 of them one of them a 10-year-old child, go through his book bag, empty his pockets inside out, and just drive off because they never found nothing. We never committed no crime. All we did was just go to a grocery store, buy a couple of items that we needed in our own neighborhood. So what we need to do is ask all these people, all these young recruits, do not follow these hierarchies within the NYPD. They are corrupt. They're nothing but a bunch of white racist bastards, because if you really think about it, I've never seen the NYPD accidentally shoot somebody white. They always shoot black, Hispanic. There's always an accidental shooting. They don't call it a killing, they call it an accidental shooting. So I can name you cases, myriads, more than what I got in my hand within the past 5 years, that the department has accidentally shot a black or Hispanic male within the city of New York. One was shot 41 times, Bell. Another one was shot on the FDR for an off-duty officer, road rage. Another 18-year-old individual was shot in the New York City housing because he was on the roof, because the officer, the city housing police department, allowed this officer to patrol the hallways with his gun unholstered. So he claimed he accidentally shot and killed him because his gun was unholstered and he got startled. I think that's a whole bunch of crap. I think that the hierarchy here within the system needs to change. If they don't change, what I do suggest is for us to come together as one and not riot here in the South Bronx, not riot in Harlem in 125th Street, but we need to go is to 86th Street, 3rd Avenue, 51st Street, 1st Avenue, all these high-rise area where all these people are living, and that's where we need to start rioting. We need, as of today, to start changing this system. We need to go down to City Hall, by force if necessary, and view and voice our opinion. And if the mayor can't do nothing about this, then we as a people, as a people, it is not just your right, but as your manhood, you have to protect your family. So anytime you walk around in your neighborhood that you get harassed by the NYPD, you have to take it upon yourself and in the group to protest these harassments. Call your local representative, call your councilman, call the mayor's office, and if that doesn't work, we need to come together and we need to actually fix this physically. I'm sure there's over 6 million black and Hispanic individuals inside the city of New York. If we all come together for one common cause, for this police brutality that's actually going on within the city, we need to actually come together and stop this right now by force if necessary.